Hey everybody, welcome to the garden. I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to the lemon and lime lovers and everybody in between. It's time for a stock highlight video. And if you're interested in any of the services I provide, please check out the links in the description below for both the Patreon and Discord. Okay guys, so we're going to be looking at Apple as this was recommended for me to look at. And Apple is, looking quite interesting. I actually think this is quite telling of what is probably coming for the majority of the markets. But let's get into it. So for Apple, it has a huge history. So let's actually just go back and make this a log chart, just so we can see the history of what's been happening here back in the 90s and such. But as you can see, after 2001 going into 2003 2004, we started this massive uptrend for Apple, and it really just it has barely looked back since. Like Apple's been one of the most successful bullish companies ever, but now we're seeing a pretty big change is starting to occur. Okay, so looking at this consolidation here, I actually don't want to ignore this. Now, I want to give a caveat here. I'm not saying Apple's going to come all the way down towards a dollar. Not at all, okay? I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. But what I do want to do, I want to make a channel, okay? So the reason why I want to make a channel is because I want to kind of show something here that that could be kind of fun, okay? So this consolidation here is very, very interesting to me. All right, so let's go from this high here, and then this won't be perfect. It's not really meant to be perfect. It's okay. From here to here. Yes. Okay. So let's make this red so we know it's off the monthly time frame. Okay. So we're gonna make this red so we know it is off the monthly time frame. And actually, hold on. Let me make sure I can get this done right. There we go. Okay. All right. So the reason why I want to keep this on the chart, because I do think it's very likely in let's just put it this way. In the scenario where we have a massive market crash, let's say the debt bubble pops, okay? So let's say the debt bubble pops, and that's a real possibility, and some would say that's potentially happening now. So if that does happen, what will happen to Apple? Well, in my opinion, Apple will probably survive. The reason why is because they have so much cash, and their interest on their debt is so low that they should be able to deal with creditors. Okay, they should be able to pay them off quite easily, and potentially Apple could be one of the best performers in that sort of market. Not on a level of stock appreciation, but on a economic level where, depending on what they wanted to do, they may have the cash to really buy into businesses that they couldn't comfortably before. So best case scenario for Apple is that the market does crash. Okay, and when I say crash, I mean like a biblical crash, unheard of, making 2008 2009 look like just a dip on a Sunday morning. I mean a massive crash that kills Fortune 500 companies left and right. Apple's best suited for that, assuming their cash is stable, that they still have a very, very high cash worth, and that their interest on their debts stay relatively low. Okay, now what would happen in that environment, in my opinion, is you would see the emotional move on Apple break down and probably break all the way down towards this level. Now, it seems unreal. You do have to remember Apple has split a couple times, so its actual stock price is much more expensive than what it seems. It's not really $126. It's probably a couple $1,000s, okay? But in my opinion, this will probably break down to here if that sort of scenario happens. So I want to keep this on here as kind of like a worst case scenario sort of like a channel. Okay, it's like a worst case scenario, and I do think that if price should come down here, it's very, very probable that it holds. Now, if this weren't to hold, then I would think, okay, it's probably because the company's dying. That in that sort of environment, then that just means the company's probably dying. Now, here's another trend line, a shorter term trend line. I want to also, keep in mind here. I want you to look at. Okay, so we're going from here. Okay, we're going from here to here. All right. So, I'm sorry, I have the wrong tool here. My apologies. No, I'm going to take it off. So I actually didn't mean to do that. My bad. I thought I had a trend line here. We'll do array. So we go from here to here. Okay. So we want this trend line here, and we're going to make it red so we know it's off the monthly time frame. Okay. And then we have another one here to here. Okay. So this may not this may seem kind of odd to you, but it's less about it holding this level. Okay, it's very unlikely to hold this level. Now I actually think Apple is coming down here. So this is the level I think Apple is coming down to here, because one of the reasons why is because I love confluence. Now confluence is one of my most favorite concepts in trading. I love seeing confluence, and what happens when I see massive amounts of information all kind of circling one area, it tends to play out quite consistently. Now, we're not done yet. The reason why I think Apple's coming to $80 is right here. So now we have another level we want to look out for on the monthly time frame right here. So this high pivot right here, okay? And then we have another zone I want to look at, and that's a fair value gap right at this level here. So this bullish fair value gap right here, and then we have another bullish fair value gap right here. Okay, and then guess what? We have another one right here. Okay, so this zone here, look for Apple to get to fairly soon. And I believe it's very likely going to start having a major reversal around this area here. Now, when I say major reversal, I'm talking off the monthly time frame. So you'll see price come down towards this level, probably consolidate, have a nice move up to make its first true lower high from its all-time high here. Okay, so this will be a major move, because percentage-wise on the monthly, this could turn into 100% move. It depends on how high it goes, but in my opinion, it's very likely that this will probably make a lower high to then eventually break down lower and start attacking these levels on the monthly time frame. So we have a bunch of levels that we can look at, and this is extremely exciting. So you're looking at this level down here, okay? So this monthly pivot at 35 and change, and then also this level right here. So the high right here, so which is pretty much around the same zone here. Okay, so the median of this consolidation, so we actually take this off, and then the next level that we want to look at is right here. Again, right at the lows of this low pivot right here. So these would be the two levels I would look out for, and we have a lot of liquidity residing in this level as well. So we have the liquidity pretty much here, which is also coinciding with this low gap we have right there, and we have more liquidity right here as well. Boom. Okay, so this whole zone down here is prime for Apple to get down to, and this is the level I see Apple in a healthy market, in a healthy correction, just a bear market that's not biblical proportions. I see Apple getting down towards this level down here around 30 something bucks. Okay, so we're looking at a massive pullback, massive pullback. And again, I got to reiterate, remember, Apple's not really $126 a share. This is not really $30 or $35. It's much more expensive. It's kind of an illusion when the stock has split so much. Okay, but this is where I see Apple ultimately getting to. Now, worst case scenario, let's just say price, the markets explode down, and Armageddon's happening, like I said. Then watch for this consolidation to get attacked, this rise to get attacked, and then eventually the liquidity under this level to get taken out, which then happens to coincide with the top side of this channel from its original bullish consolidation prior to its drop. Okay, so this is what I'm looking at for continuation to the downside. And then once we get towards this level here, I would be looking for a major change of character eventually to form, and that we can easily measure by just using the all-time high to then the potential higher lows that may form, and just wait for that trend line to break. Now, I did a lot of this off the monthly time frame. As you can see, I did not go down to the weekly time frame. We're still going to go down to the weekly and daily time frame. But the cool thing about Apple's chart is that it's so old, and there's so much information here that you really don't need anything else but the monthly time frame if you're looking to map it out. Now, if you're looking for a trade, monthly time frame is going to be a bit harder. Now, let's take off a couple of these lines, okay? So we're going to take off this pivot line here, okay? Because we have these fair value gaps here to tell us that this is clearly going to be a level of interest. And then let's also take away one of these two lines. Now, what I'm going to take away is the top line here. The bottom line to me is more relevant, so we're going to take this off here. Okay, the bottom line is more relevant. Top line won't be as relevant in my opinion because of how it's angled. It's very likely to break through here and then continue lower if we come back to here at all. All right, so this is how we're going to keep this looking going down to the weekly. All right, now down to the weekly. What can we see? So weekly already took out its previous low swing here. This low pivot got taken out already. So far on the weekly, we still have about a day and a half or so. We'll see how this candle closes, but if it closes under this pivot, then it's very likely just look for continuation to the downside. And look, we're looking at the first larger fair value gap zone here to be tested. So anywhere from $107, $108 down to about $92. So this will be the first zone that you want to look out for price to get to. And in my opinion, like I mentioned on the monthly time frame, if we do get down towards this level, this is the place where you want to look for price to brew to make a bullish consolidation, something like a descending wedge structure of some sort, and then make a new lower high on the monthly time frame. So we have a couple of lower highs already on the weekly, so let's actually mark that. So right here to here to here, right there. Okay, and we'll make this black so we know it's off the weekly time frame. So we could look for price to do exactly that, pop up from here and slowly make its way back towards this trend line. And then it's very likely, again, barring any sort of economic change or fundamental changes in the actual in the Fed's policies and such, it's very likely for this to fail here and then break down. Okay, and then break down and break under this trend line and then go lower. This is the most likely path as of now. All right. But keep the caveat that anything can change in regards with Fed policy, and if they were to come out very dovish, then something like Apple would do very, very well in that environment. Okay, so this is what we're going to keep on the charts for now, and currently we are trading on a trend line, on a weekly trend line here as well. So right here from this low pivot here to this low pivot here, we're just about to be trading on it. Yeah, so you can look to use this as kind of like your guideline, and you can even do a channel, so from here to here to here to here if you'd like. In the end, it doesn't really matter. I do think the channel will eventually break anyway, so we're not going to do an actual channel here. It looks more like it just a breakdown, in my opinion, over a couple weeks to a couple months. Okay, so we're going to take this trend line off. We don't really need that. Now let's go down to the daily, see if there's anything shorter term that we can look for here. So daily so far looking very similar to the weekly. Dailies, the current daily candles aren't really showing reversal signs yet, so downside is still looking good on the daily time frame. We do have a couple daily levels that we can actually add to the chart here. So let's actually add this level here, because this can also add participate as a potential resistance level for if we do pop down here, we make it back up towards this zone here. So this high pivot here to this low pivot right here. Yes. So actually no, we'll do we'll do here. Yeah, because I like this swing high too, to grab this low pivot here, and then we're also trading on there now. So I like how this looks. So just a quick reminder, guys, trend lines don't need to be perfectly placed. Okay, remember, trend lines are not the end all be all. All they are they're mapping information for your brain to understand. That's all trading is. Indicators, all that, what they're doing, they're trying to show you fractals that happen repeatedly, and then for you to take advantage of those fractals. Okay, so when you see MACD or RSI cross up or whatever they're doing, it's an attempt by the indicator using the math to get you into the same trade, the same setup over and over and over and over. Okay, trend lines are similar. Okay, trend lines don't have to be perfect. They're just showing you the map, a pathway. They're showing you a pathway, a zone. Remember, trend lines are zones in the end of the day. So this zone here from the weekly, from the daily time frame, this looks good to play. We're actually going to get rid of this median line here. We're going to get rid of this median line because I want to keep it clean. I don't think it's really necessary now. We'll just have these two levels, because if price were to continue to break down, we should probably break under 118 and get towards this bullish fair value gap zone. Then it's likely going to find resistance around this level here. And if it can have continuation, that's when we want to look for that weekly descending trend line to act as that resistance. All right, that is it. So my bias is to the downside. It's to the downside for Apple overall, but I do think we've mapped out a bunch of places where we can look for this to have some major nice bounce, like some major reversals, but ultimately I do think it goes lower over the larger periods of time here. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed the content. If you did, make sure to leave a comment whether you agree or disagree with my analysis. Give me a like, subscribe, and a share or two if you really feel like making me happy. And let me know also if you have any assets you want me to highlight, but you have to be in the Discord. So make sure to join that Discord and pop your asset, whether it's a stock, crypto, or commodity, in the crypto stock highlight room, and I will get around to making a highlight video just for you. All right, everyone, remember, be patient, be vigilant, and be nimble. I love you guys. Take care. Bye.